So like at a very young age, I had the opportunity to really get reps in that a lot of folks don't get in until they kind of get out of college, right? Knocking on doors, getting doors shut on you, getting run out of places, stuff like that. So anyway, that's where it started.
Welcome to Rep Matters, a podcast for sales professionals who are eager to build their business acumen and become top performers. In each episode, your hosts, Zoya Segelbacher and Caroline Jones, explore the real-life experiences, obstacles, and triumphs of salespeople. With an emphasis on authenticity and storytelling, listeners gain valuable insights into the strategies, mindsets, and skills that drive success in sales. Let's get started.
Hello and welcome to Rep Matters. This episode is brought to you by Marketers in Demand. Marketers in Demand has in-depth videos, podcasts, and articles from some of B2B's top in-demand marketers. Today, we are joined by Ronnell Richards. I am so excited because he has many titles. He's a founder, business owner, entrepreneur, podcast host, sales enthusiast. He does it all. He is best known as an award-winning entrepreneur and business leader. He was recently named top 50 influencer in Tech Channel by Channel Futures. And he's also a top 100 technology advisor. Today, Ronnell has built several marketing and sales firms. He is an accomplished author. We actually just got through reading Shut the Hell Up and Sell in our Uncapped book club. And he's helped many entrepreneurs learn how to run their businesses effectively. He's helped many sellers learn how to improve their sales skills. And we're going to talk more about all the courses and companies he's worked with in this chat today. But without further ado, please welcome Ronnell Richards.
Whoa, Zoya, thank you. That was pretty impressive. Was that me? Jeez. Hear you say it, I'm like, who is that guy? I need to meet him. You did forget one thing, though. One thing you forgot. Future pickleball champion.
Ooh.
I'm working on it. I played pickleball for the very first time like a month ago, and I'm telling you, the minute I picked up that racket and hit the ball a couple times, I'm like, okay, I can do this. So yes, future pickleball champion, I'm speaking it into existence.
Yes. We love a manifestation at the top of the show.
Do you guys play pickleball?
No, but we have actually talked about it on the podcast before, which is odd because neither of us play.
Well, it's a big deal right now. Like it's a big deal. Lots of people are playing, and so yeah, I think I'm in. So the next time we talk, I will have my pickleball championship belt or medal to show you guys.
Yeah, yes. Please. We were talking. I live overseas, and I feel like I'm going to come back, and all of culture has changed. The pickleball moment has been when I left the country. So I'm coming back, and I'm manifesting. I'm going to play with Ronnell Richards one day.
I love it. Caroline, when did you leave?
July 2022.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yes, it seems like right around there is when pickleball madness kind of started. So yes, you're going to come back and you're going to be lost. And you don't want to play me when you come back, because by the time you come back, like I said, I'm going to be a champion. So I'm going to make quick work of you. You better, you got to ease into it.
I'm warming up. I'll be ready for you.
You can play me.
Okay.
I can be your first opponent. Never played. Newbie to pickleball.
Yeah, you and me will practice first so we don't embarrass ourselves, Zoya, okay?
All right, sorry about the pickleball, the segueing away to pickleball. I kind of do that, guys, so get used to it. As we start to conversate, we're going to talk about something, and then I'm just going to, but I'll always bring it back. Okay, back to sales. Let's go.
I love it. Yeah, let's actually go all the way back, Ronnell. If anyone who's read your book, Shut the Hell Up and Sell, which I know many of our listeners have, they know a bit about your background. You have an amazing story in there about getting into jewelry sales. And we definitely want to touch on some of those stories today. But can you tell us a bit about how you got your start in sales?
Yeah, absolutely. So, sales for me really started when I was in single digits. My mother was somewhat religious, and so I was religious. And so I started when I was 7-ish years old, knocking on doors, selling religion. Mom, if you're listening to this, that's what it was. She doesn't like when I say that. It's like, it wasn't selling. You weren't selling. No, Mom, I was selling. So like at a very young age, I had the opportunity to really get reps in that a lot of folks don't get in until they kind of get out of college, right? Knocking on doors, getting doors shut on you, getting run out of places, stuff like that. So anyway, that's where it started outside of the professional realm, but in terms of as a professional seller. And actually before that, before I got my first professional sales job, I did a lot of other things that were very salesy, right? Like my parents owned retail businesses, and so I worked the cash register. I did add-on sales when I was 10, 11 years old. I didn't know they were add-on sales at that time, but I learned that later, that when people came up to my parents owned a beauty supply, when they came up and bought their what were they buying? Anything, shampoo and whatever the heck they were buying, and we had the little nail polishes on the countertop, and I asked them if they wanted some nail polish or the little bangles that we were selling. We had all types of stuff in there. That was an add-on sale, right? So anyway, I kind of learned some of these things that people don't learn until they get into the formal sales world when I was just a kid. And then my first official sales job where, I got paid a salary was, as you mentioned, Caroline, in jewelry. And boy, that was a journey. And it was something that, honestly, I feel like I wish that most sellers, if not all sellers, could start their career in something that is more service-oriented or relationship-oriented, right? So in the jewelry business, you're selling something that, first of all, that's not tangible. Well, it is tangible. I mean, we apply the love or whatever to diamonds and rings and necklaces and bracelets, but at the end of the day, what we're selling is love, right? Anyway, so in that world, you learn how to connect with people. You learn the importance of building those relationships, because being successful in that sort of environment isn't about just selling you something today. It's selling you something today when you selling your engagement ring, and then selling you your anniversary rings, and then selling you your Valentine's Day gift, and selling you your Christmas gift. Like that's how it works, right? And so I learned that, and it's really been so just fundamental to my philosophy on how to be a successful seller. And when I got into corporate sales later, I just saw that, man, corporate sellers just didn't get it. And I kind of had a leg up on them because I knew how to build those relationships, and I also knew the importance of them. Now, I didn't know, throughout my corporate career, I learned how to activate those relationships later, right, in your career, because, a lot of times we think that, or rather, I'll share my story with you. And those of you that have read the book, you kind of know this. What I thought early on, I was always good at establishing relationships, because in the jewelry business, that's what you do, right? Like you learn how to establish a relationship really quick with someone. But what I wasn't good at is the second part, which is after I've made a friend out of you, how to advocate for you, how to really be more of a servant to my customers, and the importance of doing that. So early in my career, I took that great training that I had from the jewelry industry in the corporate, but I was missing the second part. So what would happen is that as I was transitioning to different companies, or those customers that I had sold at the previous companies, they didn't come with me. And they didn't come with me even though I thought, oh, they were my friend. Well, they were, but at the end of the day, I wasn't the one that was really bringing the value to them. The company that I worked for was, because I made a friend, which is great. And then they signed on the dotted line. And as soon as that ink was dry, I was ghost. I was out. Let me go to the next one. But what I learned is that in order to have a successful career, you got to continue to be connected to those customers. You have to continue to be their advocate. You have to be a true friend and not just a superficial friend. Because that'll make you more valuable. That'll make you a true trusted advisor. And when you reach that sort of status with your customers, well, they come with you. Not only they come with you, they refer people over to you. That's the long game. Anyway, you asked me how it started, and I took you like 10 years deep. Was that okay?
Oh, you bet.
That's great.
I have a follow-up question about the building the relationship for the long haul. I have wondered about this myself because, and I think this would help sellers, it would have helped me a couple of years ago. The company may be structured to incentivize you to just go on to the next deal because you're not there for the rest of the customer life cycle. Do you think that's a failure on the company side, or is there a lesson in there for sellers to operate in a certain way separate from whatever company they're associated with?
I love that question because the answer is no, the company's not wrong. I've started multiple companies. And so when I'm creating a sales org, I have to create something based upon the common denominator, right? Like I can't create an org because most sellers aren't going to be a relationship type seller. And it's harder for me also to manage and to keep consistency if it's a relationship kind of centric sort of situation as a founder and as the leader of a company. So I have to manage to metrics, right? And I have to put processes in place like what you're talking about, where a seller sells and they move on. So what I'm teaching sellers is contrary to what your company is going to tell you to do. And that's just what it is. They are not wrong. But what I'm telling you, they're doing what's in their best interest. What I'm teaching you and telling you is to do what's in your best interest. What's in your best interest is to never divorce yourself from the customer relationship. So you have to run your own business within the business. You got to keep your bosses happy, right? So the question is, how do I do that? Well, see, where people usually struggle with this concept is that they try to be the fix-it person for everything, every issue the customer has. That's not what I'm telling you to do. I'm telling you to be the customer advocate. You want to be the conduit. You want to be the resource for solutions to them. That doesn't mean you're fixing everything. But if they have an issue, then you want them coming to you first and you going ahead and dishing that out or giving them direction so that they're getting taken care of by you ultimately, right? And the benefit to that is now you've got, again, that trusted advisor status. And, going back to my own personal story, I learned that I didn't have that. Sure, they liked me. Oh, I was a cool guy. They'd entertain a meeting with me, but I didn't bring real business value to them, right? And I think if you guys look at like the car industry, here's one of the things I love about the car industry and car sellers is that these career car sales people, they jump lots. You guys ever notice this? They'll be at Volkswagen, and then the guy's at Porsche, and then he's at Maserati. And I wondered how they did that, how they do that so successfully. I used to, but now I know it's because in that business they're a little bit better at this whole relationship component, right? And being that being that customer advocate, and people call them when they have an issue. So when they go from one dealership to the other, they have that same customer base that comes with them. That's something that I've seen over time with really successful car salespeople because they jump. But that's something that can be applied in any business, or any industry. But you do have to recognize that, this is something that you're not going to get in your corporate training, and it's something that your bosses can't really tell you. It's an investment that you have to make in your business. Now, here's the good thing about this, is once you've made that investment and you have that time where you're kind of like managing the boss and managing the KPIs and the expectations and still running your business, once you've made that investment over time, you're going to produce at a much higher level. So now you can operate the way that you need to operate with full transparency. Your bosses, everybody's going to be fine because you're bringing the numbers at the end of the day. But see, when you make that investment, like I'm telling you guys to make, everything gets easier later. Now you're building a business that's a referral-based business, right? So those customers that you've invested in, that you've earned that trusted advisor status, like I teach in the book, now you can go back to them and activate them. As sellers, we spend 80% of our time, I'm just pulling that number out of my ass. I don't know what the real number is. I'm sure somebody out there who's a data scientist will tell me what it is. 70 or 80%, somewhere around there, of our time doing what? I'll answer it. You guys don't have to answer. Rhetorical question. Prospecting. Just trying to find people to sell to.
Yeah.
That's it. Trying to find people to sell to and building credibility with them just so that we can pitch. So when you build a business that is referral based, guess what you get to do? Skip that whole thing because you got credibility already, because someone that they trust, someone that has a relationship with that person has sent them to you, right? And so part of what I teach, and you guys know this that have read the book, is that I teach how to activate them, how to make referrals not a happy occurrence, but to how to actually systematize it and make it part of your business, make it forecastable. But none of that works. And you won't have that opportunity to do that if you don't go back to the very beginning and focus on owning those relationships and earning real trusted advisor status.
Yeah. That one of the reasons I love connecting with people in channel sales, because this is new for me. I only just started learning about channel sales recently, but I feel like you won't survive. It's not even a feeling. You won't survive channel sales if you're not operating in that way. You probably are shooting yourself in the foot, even as an AE, right? If you're like going from company to company, but like from listening to you and from hearing, like that's how you're able to start multiple businesses. That's how people in channel sales are able to start a business, sell it, or leave it to their kids, and then like do something else or do it all over again. And I love, I was trying to understand like why people like you, people like Ty, people who I'm speaking with think in that way, right? Like if you interact with enough people who are selling in this style, what I've noticed is like, it's just very clear that you're thinking about how can I bring value? What can I do? It's very much like, what can I do for you? And then like, let's continue talking. What can I do for you? And let's talk again. What can I do for you? And let's talk again. And then it started to make sense because a lot of folks who are in channel sales, you're not just selling one technology. Like, it's like you were saying with the upsells, like you sell someone, I'm not in channel, so I don't know all of the things that you might sell a person, but you sell someone one type of software and then, you have conversations with them and you discover that they have another software need and then you can sell this other software need. And so I think that's so interesting. It's definitely something that I've been thinking about more. And it makes me wonder when I think about like things you've said in your book or things that you're known for like having, I think you even call it organic selling. I know you mentioned like a couple of types of strategies that are like or the organic close. What are some things like that you think like you're either pulling from your experience in channel sales or maybe you're pulling from your other sales experience, but what's like another area that folks are just missing and they should be?
So first, Zoya, let me apologize on behalf of Ty, myself, and the other wonderful people that you spoke to in channel, because you have spoken to the cream of the crop. And just like any other area of sales, there's a lot of shitty salespeople in channel.
Oh boy.
Now, and there's a very high failure rate because there's a lot of entrepreneurs, and you got to really be self-motivated, and you have to commit and be in a position to be able to commit financially for as long as it takes to be successful, which it can take a long time. Okay, so I'll tell you what I wouldn't say that it's just specific channel, but more about my background in sales and business. Like my philosophy, my mindset, my perception comes from that of a entrepreneur. Okay. And so what I'm teaching sellers to do is to take an entrepreneurial approach to their job. When I was working for my first technology company back in 2001, I used my own money for lead list, for to have some telemarketing done for me because I hated telemarketing. And why did I do that? I did that because I treated, and before I tell you why, know this, I was the best. I was very successful, top performer in the office, top performer in the region, and the company, all that sort of thing. But I invested in my own business. I knew what some of my weaknesses were, and I took my own money because at the end of the day, salespeople, we are the entrepreneurs of the business world. Like, you can create your own business within the business, but I find too often that salespeople aren't willing to invest in their own success. I mean, all these other people in the business world, they wish that their income could be as variable as ours in a positive way. They wish they could make, triple their income through their efforts. For most people, it doesn't matter how much harder they work. They're going to make the same check. You as salespeople, the harder you work, the smarter you work, the more efficient you work, you can make more money. So why wouldn't you invest in your own business? So my approach has always been, with an entrepreneurial mindset. And that's one thing I think I would like to, folks to learn from me that are working for companies out there. Invest in yourself, invest in your education, look at your holes and the gaps in your job. What are the things that maybe you don't love doing? Me as an entrepreneur, let me break this down for you guys. As an entrepreneur, I have lots of responsibility. I have lots of different things that I need to do or has to be done in my businesses. But what I've determined is that where I serve my business, all of them, at the very highest level is in having sales conversations, right? So like that is doing discovery. That is doing proposing and closing. That's where I am at my very best. That's where I can serve every single business that I'm involved in at the very highest level. So everything else is a distraction from that. Everything else takes away from that. So I try to, as much as I financially can bear the burden, outsource everything else that I can, everything else that takes me away from that. So I would ask you, salespeople, look at your job. Where do you, in your business, where do you provide the most value? What are you the best at? And anything that takes away from that, look to outsource what you can. And when I say outsource, let's be careful about that, because I'm not talking about just get some hacky technology and start automating stuff. That's a lot of you guys are doing that, and that's just shitty. I'm a decision maker. I see it, and it comes across, and I just hate it. I hate it. But we live in the gig economy, and it's so easy to outsource aspects of what it is that you do. Go to sites like Upwork, and where I prefer Upwork, I don't like Fiverr. Sorry, Fiverr. Upwork's not paying me, but I don't like Fiverr. Anyway, I prefer Upwork because you can get real quality professionals. So I can take somebody that, is maybe a $150,000 a year person, and I can pay them for 5 hours of their time, as opposed to going Fiverr or some other shitty place and paying somebody that's underqualified, for 30, 40 hours, and they don't get nearly as much accomplished. So that's what I would recommend to your audience is treat your work, treat your business like a business. It is a business. It is your business, and put yourself in the best position to be successful.
Yeah. Well, with the entrepreneurial talk, let's pivot to business and bourbon. Yeah, some of our audience might know what that is. Some of them might not. Can you give us a little description? And I know when I hopped on earlier, it sounded like you and Caroline were talking about some upcoming things as well.
Well, Zoya, it's after 6 over here, so I don't know. I might just grab a bottle from back here.
Go for it. Let's do it.
Caroline, you ready to join us? I know it's 7:15. It's like 7:45-ish a.m. for you, but I'm pretty sure that whoever the guest is basically that's the time zone you get to live in. So if you want to join me, 7:15.
Thank you so much for the invite. It looks like you could literally just reach behind you and grab it. I mean, please, by all means. Those are drinks.
Yeah, go
right?
for it. Go for it.
I can literally reach behind and grab it. Yeah, absolutely. I got some great bottles back there.
Wow, cheers to that.
So business and bourbon, it started as a platform for me to expose the world to my thoughts on sales and business, right? And just, as I was looking at growing my consulting firm, this was about like 2016-ish. I created the business and bourbon platform as a way in which started through, we created a show. Do you guys want the real story though? The backstory? All right, I'm going to give you the backstory. I've told no one this ever. I'm just kidding. I've told some people already, but here's the backstory.
An exclusive.
So in 2000, exclusive. Boo, 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 boo. All right.
Yep.
Anyway, 2015, we got to make sure we got to have graphics on the screen for that. So in 2015, I was running a company that I started 12 years prior to called RD Direct. And we were a very big AT&T solution provider, meaning we sold AT&T B2B products. And at the time, we had just crossed roughly, I think like 12,000 customers. And as I was looking at our database, we were only selling them AT&T product. And AT&T was really difficult to work with. I don't care what they think about this. I hope you guys are listening because you suck. Anyway, really difficult to work with. And we were doing a lot of maintenance and a lot of like customer service because all these sorts of things. And we were doing all the work, but we weren't getting the benefit of all that work, meaning that those customers just associated us with AT&T. It's like we weren't a separate company. They just saw us as AT&T. So all the work that we were doing and providing service for them and all that just got attributed to AT&T. So I started thinking, okay, we need to start to brand ourselves and separate from them so that we can get more share of wallet from these customers, so that we can sell them other products from other carriers, stuff like that. And so I thought, well, let's start with just a newsletter. Okay, so we'll start with a newsletter, and this is, again, a way of starting to brand our company. And after I started to send the newsletter, which is really our customer base was mostly SMB, so mostly like tips and tricks for companies. And I was having a conversation with Shelby, who's now my creative director for business and bourbon. I was having a conversation with her, and she worked for me back then. And she's like, you know what, Ronnell, I tell my friends about what we talk about here in the office. I tell them about the coaching and everything that you give us, and like they're jealous. They all want to work here, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. I like that. That's what's up. And she's like, you know what? You should put that on YouTube. You should do a YouTube channel. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm busy. I'm doing my thing. I'm a big fish in my little pond. I had no interest in going. It's funny to hear that today, right? I have no interest in doing social, YouTube, any of that. But I said, you know what? This newsletter thing that I'm doing, why don't we put a segment in there, and I'll call it business and bourbon. I enjoy bourbon and whiskey, and I have a little bar here in my office. So we'll bring a camera in, and I'll bring one of my employees in, and y'all can ask me questions on sales and marketing and whatever, and I'll answer those questions on camera, and we'll put that segment in the newsletter. Now, there was a method to my madness, and there's a reason why it was important for me to do this. I wanted people to see my face. I wanted them to see my face. It was more than just branding the company. I wanted them to see Black excellence. I wanted them to know who was behind that. I was that company. We did such great work, and 90% of our staff were ethnic and gender minorities, and I wanted people to know that. Anyhow, Business and Bourbon was born from that newsletter. It was a newsletter segment, and it was pretty successful. People loved it. And then in 2016, when I started to expand my consulting business, I said, I think this could be an asset or an asset that I can use to help expose people to me. Because I have this like basic philosophy in business that you want to do business with people that you have high alignment with, right? People that dig you and that you dig them. And so by creating a platform where I could, show people who I am. And if they dig me, great, we can do business. If they don't dig me, awesome, that's even better. You're out on me, great. And so we turned Business and Bourbon into a show. I called up we had to connect in one of the really great restaurant groups here in Atlanta. And I called up one of the GMs and said, hey, listen, what do you think if I come to your restaurant? It's amazing, beautiful restaurant. Bring some cameras in there, a couple people, and just like do this thing. And we're calling it Business and Bourbon. They're like, yo, dope. Yeah, they can get some free promotion and all that. So we created a show, and that show we had on YouTube and we had on social, and it did really well. You won't find the old episodes anymore. Like, another story for another day, but our YouTube channel got taken down. Anyway, so we created about 70 episodes of that show. Got a great following, and that led into a podcast. And the podcast we recorded live in that same venue in person. So we invite people to come hang out with me at the bar. We enjoy cocktails, and this is before everyone else trying to do that sort of thing. Anyway, so they come into the King and Duke was the restaurant. They come in there, hang out with me, and we have real talk, real conversation. And my kind of what I wanted to let people in on is what it feels like to be an entrepreneur, and and the conversations that we have at the end of the day when we're done, like trying to sound smart, done trying to present a certain image, and we're just real people having a steak, having a cocktail, and talking about the real challenges that we have. So anyway, that platform did really well, and eventually someone came to me and said, hey, listen, have you thought about doing an event? I'm like, nah, but okay. So I'm up for the challenge. So in 2018, I think that's right. Yeah, we did our very first Business and Bourbon event, event. And fast forward to today, all these many years later, we have a best-in-class experience for sales leaders, and mostly sales leaders and tech entrepreneurs that come to our events. But we do an event that is one part whiskey tasting, one part with food pairing and speakers and a panel, and it is designed to be very engaging, very collaborative, and intimate. And after touring all around the country and a little bit out of the country, we've taken our event to Toronto as well. We've really refined an experience that it's magical. It's really hard to explain what people feel unless you've been to a Business and Bourbon experience. But that comes from a lot of years and a lot of intention. And so we do something really special. So with Business and Bourbon, we do these great events that are networking experiences. And we also do private cocktail experiences and virtual experiences that are whiskey tasting and cocktail experiences. So we just created this company now that does really awesome experiences that are focused on helping business leaders to connect and build deeper relationships. That is our credo. That's what we're about. At the end of the day, is being that catalyst to helping people to build really great business relationships and do better business. So that was my long way of answering your question, Zoya.
Yeah.
You didn't expect that. You were like, hey, he's just going to say, yeah, we do some events. Sorry.
No, it was good. It was better than I could have hoped for.
I'm curious
Okay,
what over the years. Sorry, Zoya, you go ahead.
No. I won't forget.
You
that
have. Okay. We'll hit the pickleball back and forth a little bit here. You've had opportunities come your way, Ronnell, like Shelby suggesting this idea with YouTube, people asking if you ever thought about doing an event. You've said yes and gone through these doors. But I'm curious, what have you had to say no to over the years to stay on your path?
Wow. That is so great. That's a great question. No's not one of my strong suits. I'm getting better at it. But here's why it isn't. Because I'm an opportunist and I'm an entrepreneur at heart, and like I know the path to success in entrepreneurship. And the path is not being overly married or committed to the thing. to the thing, whatever the thing is, but being committed to service and success. And so because of that, I pay attention. I listen. It's kind of like Bruce Lee has this thing where he talked about like, be like water, right? Like water moves around the rocks and everything. That's entrepreneurial success. Whatever you think is going to make you successful when you start, 90% of the time, if you're ultimately going to be successful, it ain't that thing. But you have to pay attention and be willing to adjust and evolve and do and give people what it is that they want. And so when I share that story about business and bourbon and the evolution of it, it's the perfect example of that. Like what I initially thought it was going to be is nothing. I mean, it's what it is today is way different, right? During the pandemic, we did probably 100 virtual experiences a year. Like I never saw that coming, but we were faced with a little bit of a challenge and we recognized a gap in the marketplace and a need. And so we created a product. And the funny thing is, Caroline, is that, and I hope your audience takes something really positive from this. When I was a kid, my cousins used to always tease me. And you know what they would say? Ronnell, you're scary. You're scary. Okay. That means for those of you that don't, that haven't lived in any urban areas in the U.S., that means they were teasing me because I was afraid. I'm afraid of a lot of things. I'm afraid of heights. I was that kid that didn't want to walk across the log that goes across a river or anything because I was afraid I was going to fall in. But for whatever reason, when it comes to business, maybe I got to credit my dad for this. I'm just not. I'm just fearless. And sure, that comes at a cost sometimes. But like, I would just encourage your listeners to first of all know that, yeah, it's going to take some courage to do some of the things that I'm talking about. But yeah, if you're courageous and you focus on service and focus on, again, not being too married to your widget, you'll ultimately be successful as long as it's about other people. Yeah. And I think that's where people go off the rails too, because their widget is about them. I love my widget. My widget's so special. It's only special if other people think it is.
Yeah. Monetarily. Yeah, I love this. I could talk to you all day. And I love that we're blending just things that I love to talk about, right? We're blending entrepreneurship. We're blending it with sales. If we had more time, I would want to get into marketing because I know you have thoughts on that. And I've actually never talked to you about your thoughts on the sales marketing relationship. But I watch what you do and I can tell that you're very intentional about that too.
Oh, lots of thoughts.
Maybe we'll have to have you back on because I know it's
maybe. Oh, you're breaking my heart over here.
No, of course we'll have you back on. Ronnell, you probably noticed this, but I snuck recurring time on your calendar.
Happy to. I'm very happy you did, and whenever you need time, I'm there.
Because you don't say no, right?
I guess I'm a bit of a people pleaser. Is that it? Maybe. But I can say no. In fact, no. See, how'd that sound?
Wow.
I believe
still,
you. I believe
still
you.
a servant leader to me.
I know we're about to wrap, but before we do, I have to know, Caroline, what the heck is going on behind you? You have one picture. What is that picture?
This is my university staff apartment that I had no say in decorating, and this is Mount Fuji, my only addition to the decor.
Okay.
Yeah. Hence the pale beige walls and neutral furniture.
Nice. Okay.
It's the perfect little studio though. It serves the cause well.
Yeah, I wish I could flip my camera around because I
tell.
actually have some they want to remind you that you live in Japan, I guess, because my other wall has literal bamboo wallpaper.
Really?
Guys, I know that I'm here. You don't need to tell me with my decoration in my apartment, but it's definitely an interesting spot to record. But I know it's boring compared to your wall, Ronnell. I'm there's so much happening. We're remembering the book. Cool. We've got all your photos. I love it.
I know, but I think Zoya's is kind of the coolest though, because it's just like, it's just the one neon sign and like the color's dope. I like it. So I think I'm a little bit busy, but everything that you see does matter to me though.
Yeah.
Like this guy right here, you see that guy?
Yeah. Yes, we see. Beautiful
Yeah,
little
that's
baby.
me.
Oh,
That's me.
On your way to go door to door.
Baby going door to door.
Well, no, I wasn't going door to door quite yet. That was a little bit. But it's a reminder. It's a reminder for me. Like I said, everything that I have, and here's another little piece of advice for everyone. As you are setting up your offices and your space, is like everything that's in my space is intentional and it has meaning to me. And I think creating that sort of vibe helps you to be motivated. It helps you to make it through the days. So like, yeah, everything is intentional. It's there for a reason. It means something to me, down to all of the records. So those of you that are watching this, feel free to shoot me a message. If you want to know about any of the records or anything that you're seeing in the background, I'm happy to share it.
Yes. Well, we've got 2 more questions for you before we let you go off to dinner/bedtime. Bourbon, really, right? That's what you've
We
got
already
planned after
established
this
that. Like,
segment.
I'm drinking as soon as we get done. Like, I already went to the gym and everything. I'm going to tie one on.
Okay. The first question, we like to ask this to, as of 2024, we started asking this to every guest. 5 years from now, you see your name in headlines for following your passion and doing something big. What do those headlines read?
Wow. What a great question.
And take your time.
My journey and my life I've just been so fortunate and so blessed that I don't even, it's hard for me to even think bigger because of everything that's already happened, everything that I've done thus far. Like, I mean, that little kid there, he was born in St. Elizabeth Hospital in Youngstown, Ohio. At the time, my mother was living in the projects, and like what my family has done, what I've done, like, is just, it blows my mind when I think about it. So like, I would say that I'm going to rewind and say that the being acknowledged by an industry that I toiled in for almost 2 decades and relatively anonymously, right? Just in my world, being recognized as one of the top 50 influencers in the space was massive for me. And if y'all look around my office here, I've won lots and lots of awards. You're not going to see them. They're just not here because, whatever. I'm not trying to stack trophies, but like that meant something to me. So like, it's like, honestly, like that, it's downhill from, it's like, that was a little mini pinnacle for me, and so what comes next? I don't know. President of the United States? Huh? Right? Would you guys vote for me?
Yes.
I think I can pull votes this year. But five
You just
years
go
from now,
back to all your customers.
Yeah.
I think I can get as many votes as Kanye did. I think so. But I think I just want to continue to grow the platform and make more and more impact. And I don't know if there's any specific like award or any designation. I just feel like I'm only scratching the surface in terms of the amount of people that I can impact with my platform. So I just want to continue to grind, continue to work, and just get bigger and bigger. And that's kind of where I'm at. I don't know. I've never been great at long-term strategic planning, if I'm being honest, because I'm such an action-oriented guy. I'm like, go get it. But yeah, I just want to keep growing, keep becoming more, being a better version of myself.
Love
I
it.
think it's
It
so
sounds like, why put a
valuable.
number on it?
Yeah, you know what? I think that maybe part of that it's self-limiting, but I don't think it's a bad thing. But I think I've never been great at setting like number goals and things like that. I think because in my brain I said, well, this limits me. But I think also I'm probably afraid of failure. So, now that we're having an honest therapist conversation here, you guys didn't think we were going to go here, did you? Yeah, this is therapy, but I'm getting better at that. But again, I don't want to put any caps. Who knows what the limit is? I mean, I'm not even supposed to be here. I remind myself of that very often. Like, I'm not supposed to be here, and yet here I am. And let's keep it moving.
I love that response. It's very unique, and thank you for sharing and being vulnerable. And I just want to take a moment to say, you said you don't see any caps. Hashtag uncapped. So I feel it. I get it. I think that's very cool.
What? I should have worn my uncapped hat. God dang it.
When you come back.
So
next time.
Yeah. Okay, next time. I will. I love it, though. It's pink. It's awesome.
Yeah, I want to just validate, too, that your statement really resonated with me. I think it's so important to recognize what you've already done. Like, this is enough. I'm here. I already did so much. Like, when you have the kind of, like, go-getter personality, I'm sure it's hard to pause and be like, oh, I did that. So I love that. And I'm a big fan of staying open to what's coming for you. Because your career is proof, right? That staying open and being ready for what you'll attract will lead to that next headline.
Oh, I love that. And I agree.
Our final question is,
I'm sorry, before you get into your final question, one piece of advice, because what you heard me say is something I would not have said even 3 years ago. So, because part of, maybe it's the chip on my shoulder of always trying to prove myself, I just check boxes, like accomplishment, boom, 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 and never really taking time to show gratitude and appreciation. My mother has helped me with that. So my mom helped me to kind of like, hey, son, slow down, show some gratitude, show some appreciation. And I'm happier and more fulfilled that way, because when you're just checking boxes the way a lot of us do, you never really feel fulfilled because you can never check enough boxes.
Yeah. While we're still on the topic, important. I'll build on it too. It sounds like you're in alignment also with like what you're meant to be doing. I think that's worth calling out, right? Like, when you are in alignment, sometimes things organic came up earlier. Sometimes things just feel organic, I think, rather than feeling like I have to muscle through this and get to this, next achievement. There's a lot of, for us in sales, I feel like it's really common to be like, once I get here, then I will happy. Once I close a deal of this size, once I get promoted to this role, once I work in this industry. And I think it's important to think about why we want to do those things. And I think once you finally hit the pocket, it's very possible that a lot of us could feel that way, could feel content and open to growth.
You know what? You hit the nail on the head. So it's not that I'm content, because I'm never content, but it's that I feel that I am where I'm supposed to be. I feel that I am serving the community that I'm supposed to serve, like this, like never before. Like, yes, I'm in the pocket. Like, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to do. And I feel like I can do it better than anybody else. And whether that's true or not doesn't matter. But what matters is that I feel like this is my place. So, yeah, you hit the nail on the head, Zoya.
Yeah, that's like one of Blake Hudson's quotes from our episode. Like, the story that we tell ourselves is the story that matters the most. So I'm here for it. All right. God, I mean, is it obvious that Zoya and I don't want to end this episode? But we will get to our final question.
Okay.
What are you promoting, and where can people find you?
Oh, so all things Ronnell is RonnellRichards.com, RONNELL Richards.com. What I am promoting right now is all things Ronnell at RonnellRichards.com. No, so, I would be honored if any of your listeners went out there and consume some of the content that I've got out there. The book, Shut the Hell Up and Sell. Again, all of this stuff you can access through my site, but Shut the Hell Up and Sell, it's on paperback, it's on audio. Check out my LinkedIn learning course on relationship-centric sales, which is crushing right now. We're up to, I think in 2 months, I think we just crossed 3,000 learners. We're at 4.8 approval on that. So the content I'm so proud of that content and the work that was put into that. There's the Say Less Sell More Academy, which is sayless.academy. Go there. We're putting new content on there. Caroline, as you mentioned, we've got a course we have a new course that's dropping, but we have this big, hairy, audacious goal, an ambitious goal rather, of doing a new course a month. And it's not just because I want to do a course a month. It's because I got a lot of shit to say, and I feel like there's a lot of different communities and industries that can benefit from the philosophies that are in the book, Shut the Hell Up and Sell, and what's in my brain. So I want to help as many people as we possibly can. So yeah, there's that. And lastly, just follow me on LinkedIn. I love adding people to the community. And if there's anyone that's listening out there that needs a little piece of advice or whatever, reach out to me. Like, I am approachable. I am reachable, and I always will be. That's how I roll. That's how my mother raised me. So the only thing that's changed between now and years ago is it might take me longer. Like, my email and direct messages can become a mess at times. So it might take me a little longer, but I always try to respond.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and can't wait to have you back on. And enjoy your what's like the flavor or style of, I don't know anything about bourbon, but what's that look like?
Okay, so little known fact, well, not little known fact, you probably know. So I also serve as I head up marketing and brand strategy for the American Distilling Institute. And so if just in case, I needed another job, but no, they're one of my consulting clients, and I've took that over for them last year. So I have access to lots of different spirits, right? We just had our spirits competition last week, and so they bring in 30, 40 judges from across the globe, right, all over the globe, to judge spirits that are sent in from various distilleries across the globe. And we had 1,200 bottles. 1,200 bottles there being judged. And I get to taste any and all of them. So they're all across the board. So to answer your question, Zoya, I'm kind of, while I own a company called Business and Bourbon, I'm a little burnt out on bourbon. Don't tell anyone though. That's a little secret.
Fair enough.
So I'm drinking more gin. So American gins, guys, they are not what you think. They're not like the piney British stuff that tastes like you're drinking a liquid pine tree. They are very floral and very delicious. So try American craft gins, okay?
I like a floral drink. So that sounds like something I can get into.
All right. Well, the next time we're together, I'm going to order a couple of drinks for you, and so we'll do a little tasting. Or you can come to my house, because I got plenty here.
Amazing. I will be back in Atlanta very, very soon, hopefully.
Love it. I cannot wait to see you. And Caroline, I will be in Japan. Just kidding. I wish I was.
I was like, really?
But please, Japan has amazing whiskey. They do great whiskey there. Yeah. So make sure you get some Japanese whiskeys if you haven't already. You probably have.
Thank
no?
You.
Yes?
I'm sober. So it's been a few years since I had a good Japanese whiskey, but my husband will toast to you tonight.
All right. What's your husband's name?
Dave.
Tell Dave I said cheers.
I will tell him. It's kanpai in Japan. And
kanpai.
Kanpai you with my coffee cup.
Love it.
What a good way to end.
This is such a blast having you on.
Been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Rep Matters, the podcast for sales professionals who become top performers. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow Rep Matters wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, or access all episodes at marketersindemand.com/repmatters. See you next time.